It's Thursday evening. Hurry up and get on because we're going to paint tonight. It's going to be exciting. So my name is Brandy. I'm with Brushed by Brandy. I am a brand ambassador for Dixie Belle Paint Company. I paint here live with you guys on the Dixie Belle Paint Facebook page every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm here in California, and so it's later for you guys on the East Coast. My husband Sean is here tonight with us to help answer any questions as they pop up. So as I'm going, please come on and ask any questions you might have. But we'll go ahead and get started.
What's for dinner? I'm just asking.
Sorry, am I interrupting your evening? I honestly have no idea what's for dinner. That's usually the answer in our house. It's 6 p.m. and I don't know what's for dinner. But I do know what we're painting tonight. We're painting this piece right here. So this piece is kind of cool because this was given to me by a customer, and it's a beautiful piece, but it had tons of condition issues. Number one being that the existing finish has a lot of texture in it. It's kind of got that alligator skin texture, and I didn't want to sand it all back. One, because sanding through a really old piece like this can actually promote bleeding, promote bleed through. And bleed through is when the oils, the tannins in the wood start bleeding through my paint and they make discoloration in the paint. So I am actually going to work with the alligator texture in this piece, and I'm going to make it a textured finish. Now this was a really plain front. It had no decoration to it whatsoever. So I chose to put molds everywhere on this piece. All of these decorations were added by me. I cast everything in resin, and I just decided to put a little bit everywhere. And I wanted to look really ornate, really old world with texture and interest on every piece of this buffet. I'm actually going to be putting a transfer down the center here. It's going to be a black and white transfer. Actually, I've got it right here. So I'm going to show you guys this so you know kind of where my vision is. But this is going to be my transfer. This is the Parisian letter transfer by Redesign with Prima. So I'm not going to be able to use the whole thing, but I'll be able to get this emblem here and a little bit of the text underneath it. I think it's going to be really cool.
Oh, can you decipher that for me?
Yes, let me translate this for you. This says, actually I think this one is in English. It's written in this like...
Is it the Queen's English?
Scrolly, textury writing. What's this called again? They don't teach this in school anymore. No, it's just really old cursive, and it's kind of broken up. A lot of these I don't think they're meant to be able to read, but this is 6 months from the date I promised to pay Mr. King, order of $1,700 red dollars, value received. Huh, okay, so it's a...
Is this a big IOU?
It's an IOU. Well, crap. I don't want to use this. It looks like a note, an old note, which is kind of cool. So anyway, that's kind of my vision for this. Once I paint this surface, which we're just going to do the basic paint finish on it, I'm going to dirty this up so these molds will really stand out. Right now, they've got a flat base color, and so you don't really notice them as much, but when I'm done, you will. My base color on this is Dixie Belle from the Flea Market Decor line. It's Birchwood. The closest color to this in the regular paint line is Sandbar. So I'm using this Birchwood, and I really like it, but these colors are actually not available anymore. So Sandbar is going to be your closest Dixie Belle color to what I'm using, and it's this, I don't know, kind of cool beigey color. It is the color of sand. But because I've got that alligator skin texture under this, I just have a base coat. I haven't sanded it because I want more texture in this finish than less. And we're going to add some sea spray. Sometimes you guys, when you open a new thing of paint, you'll find this, I've used this one time before, but you will find this skin that forms on the top. Hang on, I'm dripping it. No, I want to talk about this. This is a skin that forms on the top, and this is just the paint dries on the very top layer. But this protects the paint while it's in the container. So once you open your paint container, you want to discard this. You don't want to try to save it. But that keeps your paint fresh underneath it. So you'll see that a lot. But I'm going to dump some of my paint into this bowl here. And I'm going to mix it with some sea spray. Another thing to pay attention to, I was just talking to Sean about this tonight, is, you know, temperatures are really cold. I've noticed my paint is a lot thicker right now, meaning I'm using a little bit more water with it when I'm painting, and it's taking a little bit longer to dry. So are you guys noticing some of that stuff too going on? So sea spray is a texture additive. It comes in a bag like this, and it's the consistency of like a baking flour. So all you do to mix sea spray is I'm going to come in with my bowl of paint here. I use these little spatulas. These are from, you know, I get these at like Home Goods and stuff, but they're great for stirring and paint stuff. And I'm just going to dump a little bit of my sea spray in here. I prefer to start out with less sea spray rather than more, because I can always add it, but I can't take it away. And then I'm just going to stir it in. And sea spray is kind of cool because you can mix it to whatever consistency you want. If you want it really lumpy and chunky and dry and pasty, then you use more sea spray. If you want it a little creamier, you use less. I need more paint in this mixture. I've got a little bit too much sea spray. I'm looking for the consistency of like a brownie batter. So I'm going to scoop in a little bit more of my paint.
Just really quick, as far as the molds,
yeah.
What kind of molds did you use?
So let me grab one. These are the silicone molds by Redesign with Prima. So they start off like this, and you can cast them from a variety of materials. So I actually used a resin, a casting resin called Amazing Resin. That's available in my Amazon shop. I have a whole blog on my website at brushedbybrandy.com on all the different things you can use to cast a mold with. And then it also has links on where you can get the molds, where you can get resin, where you can get modeling material. So go to my website and you will find a whole blog post just on casting molds. But I used Amazing Resin to cast these. And they're glued on with...
Wait for it.
Wait for it.
Oh, Sheila's on. And go.
They're glued on with Quick and Thick. Type Bond Quick and Thick is an all-purpose adhesive. That's what I use to attach my molds with. I'm going to add a little bit more paint to this. So this is just a, you know, mixing. I got a little heavy-handed on my sea spray. And that's okay. You can also add a little bit of water to this to kind of thin it out. So this is my cooking skills at work here. And I am, because I know how I want to put this on, and I want it to be thinner, and my paint is even thick, so my paint's not even going to thin it out as much as I want. My paint is thick because it's super cold here in California.
Can you use sea spray with the metallics?
Yes, you can. Now, anytime you mix the metallics with anything, it's going to tone down the metallic a little bit. So it's going to take out some of that shimmer. It'll turn it to more of like a pearlescent than the over metallic it starts out with. So keep that in mind. You will lose a little bit of that metallic. So here's what I've got. See what I did to my paint? I totally ruined it, huh? It looks like frozen paint. This is what happens to paint when it freezes. It gets lumpy and chunky like this. But this is what sea spray turns your paint into. So how I'm going to put this on tonight is I am not going to start with any of my nice Dixie Belle brushes. The nicest thing I'm going to use is the Dixie Belle Premium Chip Brush. I like to do this with a natural bristle brush because they've got more rigidity, and the natural bristles are great for adding more texture. So, and then I have just some cheap chip brushes, but these are what I'm going to put it on with. So I'm just going to take, I've got a base coat on here already for coverage. And I'm going to use kind of a stippling, and I'm just going to dab on my sea spray.
So what's this color that you're using? So, which is the base color as well?
It's the same base color, but this is birchwood from the Flea Market Decor line. The closest color in the actual paint line is sandbar. I'm using this because I have it and I want to, you know, get rid of it. It's actually no longer available. But my closest color in the regular paint line, if you're ordering, is going to be sandbar. Sandbar is like a tiny, tiny shade off of this. You'll barely notice a difference. So I'm just stippling this on. And I'm stippling because when you put the brush to your piece and pull it away, it pulls the paint back because it's really thick. And it gives texture. Now, I don't want so much that it's like obnoxious and like someone's clothes are going to get stuck on this when they walk by it. I just want enough that it looks interesting and
Let's get in there.
Okay, can you guys see all this texture that I've got going on in here? You can have it as much or as little as you want. So if I want more, I just, you know, you really have control of the sea spray. And I'm even gonna go over top of my molds. So my goal with this, you guys, is I'm gonna come back when this is dry and I'm gonna add Dixie dirt and some dark waxes, and it's gonna get in to all these crevices, all these raised parts that I'm making. When I add the dirt and the waxes, it's really gonna look super aged. Got a little brush hair here. So you can kind of see why I'm using the premium chip brush, is because I don't want to ruin my nice Dixie Belle brushes. The premium chip brushes are actually really nice. I'm gonna go, so some of my molds I painted with my base color, but these here didn't get a base coat on them, and the reason is because I had to cast them later. I cast the wrong one and had to come back and redo it. So these got attached later. That's the only reason they missed my base coat. That's okay. I can just go right over them, and I get good enough coverage with Dixie Belle that, see, there, it's still covering my mold completely. I'm getting all into the crevices. I don't want to lose the detail of my mold, so I'm not going to gunk it up so much with this sea spray, but I still want to get into all those crevices, so this looks like it's a permanent part of this piece.
So yes, to answer the question, you did put a base coat on this before doing this.
Yes, this is not my, so down here you can see the legs. I haven't done the legs yet, because what I intend to do with these is I'm going to clean them really well, give them a light sanding, and I'm actually going to use gel stain right over the top of the existing finish on my legs. And so I'm going to have dark wood legs against the sea spray, and this will have, you know, dirt and dark waxes in the texture. It'll tie into the dark on the bottom. I think that's going to be cool. So I've kind of dug it into, I don't want to get it too gunked up. I don't want to lose the details of my molds.
Everybody's shocked you're painting with one color so far.
I am. I'm only on one color. I'm going to add a second color, but we're not there yet, because I need to get, so before I can blend the paint, I have to get it from here onto my piece. And so that's what I'm just trying to do right now. I am going to add another color. My next color I add is going to be Stormy Seas. But I got to get the paint on here so that I can work them together. And I'm not going to add sea spray into my Stormy Seas, but it's going to work into the texture that's already in this the birchwood. Should I call it sandbar or should I call it birchwood? Because I know I'm telling you guys to get sandbar, but I'm using birchwood. Over the summer last year, Dixie Belle introduced the Flea Market Decor line. That was a partnership with Flea Market Decor magazine, where they did 6 limited edition colors. And so I just have those left, and it was a really similar color to what I wanted, so I'm just using the last of it. So don't feel like if you don't have birchwood, you can't achieve this. You can still totally achieve this look.
I guess Chris is onto something.
What's that?
This is just like, its another name is Quick and Thick.
Yes.
Yeah, sea spray is like Quick and Thick.
Like Quick and Thick for your paint. So I'm going to smooth it out a little bit on my molds, just because I don't want to lose all those details. I want the molds.
What's this mold? What's the name of this mold that you're using?
This one is, oh, do we have any retailers who can help me out? It comes in a right and a left-hand side. I don't have the package for it. You know what somebody else does? And this is a good idea. I should go through and do this.
Write the names on the back?
They write the names on the back of them with a Sharpie. That's a really good idea. I should go through and do that to all my molds, because some of them I remember the names, but otherwise I have to go look them up every time. So I do like that idea. So I'm just kind of cleaning up the texture. I want it to be kind of consistent throughout my piece. I'll just go back and dab my brush, and that, you know, will pull up the paint anywhere I feel like it got too flat. And you can see, like, my brush is getting disgusting. This will rinse out. You don't want to rinse sea spray down your drains, though, because it can harden in your drain and give you drain issues in the future. But it doesn't add any odor or anything to your paint. It just gives you the ability to add texture and interest as much or as little as you want. So I've got my basic framework of paint on here. It's still wet. So now I'm going to take Dixie Belle Stormy Seas, and I'm just going to kind of like shade around the edges of my door here and my drawer just to add a little bit of contrast. Let me pull this drawer out a little bit. These drawers are old and sticky, and I don't know, not sticky, but it's a big heavy drawer. So, you know, some pieces are great for being like your daily dresser. This is an old piece that just has tons of character. Like, it could totally be in an entryway to put your keys on. You can put your TV on this. This one will be for sale too, by the way, if anybody's looking. That was hardcore solicitation right there.
Where do you get the molds?
Dixie Belle carries a variety of the molds on their website. I do not believe that they have this one, which I don't know what it's called. I will put a link on here after I'm done to the, I mean, I used probably 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I have 5 different molds on this piece. So I will give you guys my generic link. If you go to my page, let's see, where do I have my link? I will put the link on this post after I'm done where you can get the molds. Dixie Belle retailers, if you guys are on here, go ahead and throw your guys' links up if you have molds available too. So I'm going to dip. This is just a chip brush. This blending is going to be rough and rugged and textured and not smooth. But up top here, and I'm going to use the same kind of dabbing motion, and I'm going to dab, this is Stormy Seas, right into the crevices of my piece. I should probably put this paint in a different dish because I'm going to contaminate it a lot.
So when you did the molds, aside from the quick and thick, did you tape it? Did you nail it?
Yeah.
How did you?
So here's the deal. Quick and thick tends to set up really nice and fast. So your mold isn't going to run down your piece. But some of these, like these are a really big mold, so they're really heavy, and the glue didn't quite hold them. So these I did have to tape. These smaller ones here, I'm able to glue it, and it sets up within, you know, a few seconds. So I can sets up enough that I can walk away from it and not worry that they're going to slide down my piece. That's why I like the quick and thick, because it's thick, so it doesn't, the glue doesn't run, and it sets up quick, so it's quick and it's thick.
Amy says hi.
Hey Amy, how are you doing tonight? So I'm going to be working with Sea Spray at the Bells and Bow Tour, which is coming up next weekend. It's January 18th in Atlanta, Georgia, which is hard to believe that I fly out next week.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you're a little too excited. So now I'm going to take a clean, dry brush, and I'm just going to go over kind of where these two meet, and I'm going to kind of work them together.
2 colors that you're using are what?
I have Dixie Belle or Birchwood from the Flea Market Decor line, which the closest color in the regular paint line is Sandbar. The Flea Market Decor paints are not available anymore on the website. Guys, if you have not already, Dixie Belle worked really hard and got us a new website this week. Go check out the new Dixie Belle website. It is phenomenal. It's really nice and easy to use. I just ordered from it yesterday.
Wendy says she just ordered, or she ordered 5 molds. She's trying to wants to get home before her husband.
Yeah. So, can you guys see? I added in that Stormy Seas, and all I'm using is a dabbing motion. I'm not brushing them together at all. I'm just using the dabbing because I want to keep the texture. And the paint kind of did the work for me. Can you guys see the contrast that it has around there?
In regards to applying molds, how does hot glue work?
You can definitely use hot glue. Hot glue is an option. So like I said in the beginning, I have a blog on my website at Brush by Brandy just about making and applying molds. You can definitely use hot glue to make your molds, and then you can use the hot glue to apply your molds. It works great. Hot glue, it is hard to get a completely perfect mold. You will get some air bubbles in there. So I like resin because I like my molds to be flawless, but hot glue is definitely an option. And there's videos in there too of making all of the molds with all the different options. Resin, hot glue, the Redesign with Prima modeling material, and paper clay. Had a thing for a minute. If you guys subscribe to my blog, I put up a new blog post every 2 weeks. Every other Sunday, a new blog post comes up, only because my assistant makes me do it, which she just reminded me today. All right, so I think that's really pretty. So, I mean, that's a super easy technique, is I stippled in my second color, and then I just kind of worked it in with this, and you can see I've got a rag here, and that's because the sea spray and the birchwood mixture starts gumming up my brush pretty good. I'm not using nice brushes here tonight. And this is just a clean, dry brush that I'm using to kind of work those two colors together.
And you're going to be using the sea spray across the whole piece.
Yep, whole
right?
piece, the top too. This is not enough texture. There's a little piece of texture here that's more than I would want on the rest of the piece, so I just pulled it out with my finger. It actually felt like it was a piece of something that got into my paint maybe. So this is not enough texture that I couldn't put like a glass of water or something on this piece and it's gonna tip over. I'm gonna lightly sand this when I'm done, so it's not gonna be super abrasive. It's just gonna have little ridges in it. No different than the, you know, kind of alligator skin texture that it had before. So this is not gonna be crazy texture, like I can't put a glass of water on it because it's gonna tip itself over.
Sorry, I'm laughing because I feel like I'm witnessing a crime. Sheila's giving tips to Wendy on basically how to avoid your husband coming across these things by getting yourself a FedEx or a UPS box.
What do you do? A FedEx or a UPS box for what? What do you do?
To have shipments dropped there, and then you go pick them up, like almost like what a PO box would be. You go grab it from the post office so that yours truly doesn't know that it came.
Oh, I don't hide it.
Yeah.
I own my shipments. So I'm going to do the same thing.
Don't worry, Sheila. I'm taking notice. Okay, go ahead.
Now I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm just adding in a little bit of the Stormy Seas. My paint is still wet and sticky and gunky. It hasn't started to dry yet, so I can still kind of work with this paint. If it does start to set up faster than you can get to it, just add a little bit of water to it. Right now I'm just, like, this doesn't look very good, but I'm just getting the paint onto the surface. That's the first part. And then I can start working out this transition line right here.
So what's your preferred method for putting molds on pieces?
So my preferred method is casting them with resin and attaching them with Quick and Thick. That is my go-to. That's usually what I do 99% of the time. So I'm just using the Stormy Seas to kind of shadow around the outside of the door. What?
There's a lot of interesting stuff on here.
Do I even...
These ladies that are like hiding these things from their husbands. Please carry on. I just want to see.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys.
Asking for a friend. Yeah.
Well, Sean woke up this morning. What did you wake up to me purchasing last night while you were sleeping?
Gosh.
Patio furniture.
Patio furniture.
New patio furniture. So yesterday, you guys, if you follow my
Maura,
page,
no pin nails.
I posted that we passed our final inspection on our house, and I thought we should celebrate with new patio furniture.
That's what I was thinking.
We have
apparently at 2 a.m. when I was sleeping.
Yeah, we have kind of a seating group out there right now, and I wanted like a dining set that we could go out as a family and like eat dinner out there. See, I'm thinking about us as a family.
That's a
It's all
crock.
about family time.
Yeah.
No, Sean.
Show that to your UPS box.
Sean knew that I was looking, so he knows I'm also the cheapest girl alive.
Oh, Brittany. Yes, this is true. She says her husband hides purchases from her.
Oh.
I mean, I've heard of friends doing that, so...
Yeah, I'm sure never you, right? Have you? I'm trying to think.
I don't think so.
Nothing that really, like, surprised me.
No. It's going to be tough now that the construction is nearing down. I can't just go buy tools and have them show up.
No, I welcome you having tools show up because it means you gotta use them on something.
Oh, sweet.
I'm gonna open this door so I can kind of get around this edge. I don't want to get this center piece right here, but I do.
I need to get a hydraulic lift for a car. Is that okay?
Why? Yeah, why?
I'm getting older, and crawling under cars to change oil isn't effective
Or
anymore.
you could just pay $20 and have somebody else change your oil for you.
Well, it's been a while since you went to have oil changed, apparently, because it's not $20.
This is true.
Oh man, because I'm the one that's doing it.
All right, we will expand our budget so you can have $25.
Sweet.
for our oil change.
That's good. Change a bicycle tire for $25.
Oh, good, because no one needs his bicycle tire changed. So that's all. I'm just kind of stippling this in. Now, this is just basic, like it's a pretty basic finish. It's not super exotic yet. But once I add the dark waxes, so before I do that, I'm going to clear coat all this. I'll preserve my paint finish. And then once I come back and add the waxes and the Dixie dirt inside this texture, then you'll start seeing it. You know, it's never one thing. It's always the combination of all these techniques that come together. I compare it to like putting together an outfit. Okay, your little black dress probably doesn't look that great on its own. No offense, ladies, it doesn't. But once you add your necklace and your purse and your belt and your shoes, it all starts coming together. That's kind of painting. You know, it starts out with your your molds, then your paint finishes, then your clear coat, then your waxes, and you layer all these things together, then your transfer, and that's what gives you the finished look.
So, totally random, but that's what I do.
Yes.
Thank you, Jody, for mentioning it's more like $50 for an oil change, and to ask there was a question thrown out there that someone's having their car
That's
changed.
ridiculously overpriced.
You're bothering me right now.
Sorry. Just gonna keep
$50 is like baseline, and
For
then
an
it just
oil
depends.
change?
Oh yeah, and then it depends the type of motor oil, where you're going. Is it
How much is
synthetic?
that- How much is that lift?
Yeah. See, it's got a comment in
I'm
it.
not getting a lift.
What?
Can you get one used? This girl's cheap.
If you
right?
get a used lift, it's because someone probably died on it. No,
I mean, did they clean
it
the
means it
floor
doesn't
off?
work.
How used are we talking? I have a degree in finance, guys. My brain
Yeah, that's great.
is trained to not spend money. That's probably why I have a side hustle. Although I've been paying attention, and like all my mom friends, everybody's got some kind of side hustle. Like our neighbor, she records.
Just saying side hustle makes it sound wrong.
I know, huh? Why is that? Okay, they work from home. Is that what I should say?
Another job, another source of income. A side hustle makes it seem like you're taking advantage of someone.
Most of them are like stay-at-home moms, and these are just like ways to make extra money. They're not. I don't know. I guess they are legitimate businesses. So my neighbor records audiobooks and also like daycares a kid, and I paint stuff. Sean's side hustle, he sits in
I
our
just
office all
watch.
day and does stuff. I don't know what he does in there.
That's not a side hustle. It's my actual job.
How come mine is the side hustle and yours is a job?
I'm not going to comment on camera. It can be used as evidence later on. So what kind of hardware are you throwing on this puppy?
So I'm not 100% sure yet. Someone had modernized the hardware at some point, so it only had 2 pieces of original hardware. And then it had kind of a mishmash of modern hardware, and it's not cute, so it's not going back on. But I'm debating taking wooden knobs and putting molds on top of them, like these little medallions here on top of a wooden knob. And then I think it would really coordinate with what I've done to the piece. So that's kind of my concept right now. When you first cast the resin, it has a little bit of flexibility to it. Like these are hard now. I've cast these a while ago. But when you first cast it, it has some flexibility. Or I could use modeling material and it will press on to the front of a wooden knob. It'll conform to the curvature of the knob.
Oh, do you use that for your second stream of income?
My second...
AKA side hustle?
Yeah, that second stream of income, is that what we're calling it? I think
Sounds better.
I was forced to now call my side hustle a legitimate business. Like the second that I needed a tax ID number, that was like a reality check that, oh man, I guess this is a legitimate business now. Like, I don't know, I keep books for it. It's on my taxes.
What are those?
Yeah, it's
Books?
It's just a little less sidey now. So same thing. And I've already said this, but I want to reiterate it. I'm going to sand over the top of this. So I'm going to control how much raised texture I want. I don't want this to be uncomfortably bumpy or whatever, so people don't want to, you know, rub against it. It's going to be sanded. And another thing you can do with sea spray is I'm pulling my brush away and getting this like stippling texture. Can you see the texture on camera?
Huh? Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
Anybody listening to me, do you guys know that I'm even here? Is you can make whatever texture you want. If you wanted to do swirls, just drag your brush through it and it will give you whatever texture you want. So think of it like drywall mud. When you go into people's houses and they have all different ways to do their drywall mud. So this is kind of a swirling. I could do cross hatching. Whatever texture you want, you can give to this sea spray.
It's like karate chopping with a brush.
Yeah. You can use the little texture tool that comes with the Dixie Belle wood graining tool would be cool in this, and that will give you a strié pattern.
Sorry guys, I'm just trying to catch it to where you can actually see the definition in the...
If I take this out, does that help? These drawers have a tight fit. Does that help?
There we go.
So you can really see.
So this had, you mentioned this had a texture on it before.
Yeah, this...
slight.
Yeah, very slight. So you're not going to be able to see it on camera. The finish was so old. This is a very old piece. This has got to be at least 100 years old. And the finish just kind of had alligator skinned, where it crackles and starts raising. It wasn't loose or coming unattached. It just had degraded. It was an old finish, and instead of taking it all off, I'm putting a textured finish over it. I usually will take my texture and use it to my advantage. So this is kind of the pattern that I'm using, but I want to show you guys again. If you swirl your brush through this, you can give a cool swirling pattern. And whatever pattern you give to this sea spray, that's what my waxes and my Dixie dirt are going to pick up on that pattern. So that's a really cool look too. Can you guys see the swirls in there? You can use your brush and do whatever you want. And then I'm going to sand down so the very raised edges get smoothed out a little bit. The combination of the two. Texture can be a really, really cool part of a finish. So same thing. Now I'm going to take my Dixie Belle Stormy Seas, brush underneath there, and I'm going to shade around the edge of this drawer. And all I'm doing is I have an old chip brush that I'm wiping off because it keeps getting gummed up with some of the sea spray. And I'm just going to put the paint on. I got to put the paint on before I can work it in. Just dabbing a little bit around my edges. I want it kind of stronger at the corners.
Wait, what? Is today really Lynn's birthday?
What? The Lynn? Is it really? Happy birthday, Lynn!
Come on, Sheila, are you just making things up?
Yeah, Sheila, take the girl.
It's like
out.
going to the restaurant and just saying it's your birthday so you get some attention.
So you can get some
free ice cream. I've heard of people doing
I
that.
don't frown on that at all. We might be teaching our kids to do that.
Whoa, we?
I'm totally kidding. My kids know a hustle. Like, they like to go yard sailing, and my older son will sit there and haggle with the people. If they're like, that's $5. He'll be like, I'll give you $3.95.
While Dad climbs in the car because he's embarrassed.
Yeah. Nothing makes me prouder than hearing my kids negotiate.
So how long do you have? I realize it depends on temperature, but how long is the workable factor of sea spray?
Yeah, it is different because it depends on how thick you made your paint. It obviously, because it thickens your paint is a little bit slower to dry. So You'll notice I'm working this in sections. It does start getting sticky. Like it's gonna start setting up, and I don't want it to be overly sticky. Although I'm, you know, I don't know. Probably have, I don't know.
It's really not Lane's
Yeah.
birthday, by the way.
It's not.
Yeah.
Dang it. I need to cancel that Amazon order I just placed. That one that just came was for Lynn for her birthday.
Nice.
So I don't know. I'm working this in sections because you don't have unlimited time to play with it. It is going to start setting up.
Sheila said it's not really her birthday. She just likes to see people wish her a happy birthday.
Yeah, everybody loves that.
That's how you get thrown out of restaurants.
Yeah, we thought you looked older, Lynn. That's a good friend right there.
So where's the bag of sea spray? Let's go back
That's
to
a great
basics.
question.
Oh, look, it's over there. Hey, Mo.
So it comes in a bag like this, and it has a scoop in it, although mine does not for some reason.
That's weird.
I
And the
think
consistency is like...
it's like baking flour. It's like adding baking flour to your paint.
How do you know that?
So I hear. I
Yeah.
do own flour. I don't know what to do with it, but I own it.
Just pour it in paint?
Yeah, can you guys see it's a white powder? And it'll thicken your paint up. You can add as much as little as you want.
And you add it directly to the paint.
Yep. You can make it, you can keep stirring it if you want it smoother.
Yeah, Lynn, happy birthday. Oh, here we go. What's under that sheet over there?
Nice try. Although I did finally get some dates for you there, Sheila. That piece has a new release transfer on it. There's a new release of Redesign
Oh, as in on the
transfers coming
calendar.
out. Yes. Oh yeah.
Thought we were
not-
making some calls.
Not on your dating profile. Although I just watched a movie and it like
Oh, man.
I don't know, it turned me off to online dating.
That's so weird since you're married.
Probably gonna go and
So bizarre.
cancel those memberships. On Netflix, it was this movie called Dirty John, and the guy is like totally a scumbag, like a con artist. So I'm digging it into the crevices of my mold right now, and then I'm going to come back and I want to kind of clean it up. Just smooth it out a little bit more on the mold than on the background because I don't want to lose the details of my molds. Other than that, I'm just smashing my paint in. It doesn't get any easier than that, right? Look, this brush is getting destroyed. This is why I'm not using my good Dixie Belle brushes. I even have like the Dixie Belle French tip brush or the Belle brush or good natural bristle brushes. And I wouldn't even do that to do this to those. So this is the premium chip
Oh,
brush.
Diana, we have. She said you should see You on Netflix.
Yes! We just finished binging You. The second season just came out. I like that show. That's a great show.
And we went through it in like 2 days.
Yeah, we just sat there and watched all of them. Although Sean was disappointed in the ending. I think he was more disappointed that it was over. The other one we just watched was What If? Is another Netflix series, and that one was good in the beginning. It just got kind of drawn out a little too long.
Maybe people should just start chiming in for reviews.
It has
How about that?
Renee Zellweger in it. And I think she's good in the role because it's kind of an evil role. And after her plastic surgery, her face doesn't move that much.
Oh, man.
So it's a great
Like the
role
fake
for her.
crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when she cries, it still just looks like she's got a regular face, but just water's coming out of her eye.
I like Amy's idea. Just watching the Hallmark Mystery Channel. Yes.
Yeah.
Easy watching.
It is the same thing. Same stories, same movies. They're all like on Netflix. I agree with you. But I feel like if it's on Netflix, then Sean will watch it with me without feeling like ashamed that he just watched it.
Yeah, I'm not really going to chime into the Hallmark Channel.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah,
it's a good idea in theory.
If I tell him we're sitting down to watch a Lifetime movie, he's out. That's a deal breaker right there. But I can say, like, check out this Netflix movie I found, and he's like, oh,
Bam,
you're genius.
on it.
You're genius, Brandy.
Oh,
Thank you.
no.
You're the best wife I could have ever asked for.
That's so weird.
So lucky.
Huh.
That's exactly what he says to me.
Huh. Can I meet that guy?
So I'm just softly like kind of stippling my paint. And then I got my clean dry brush. Also premium chip brush because it's going to start getting some of this in there. And I'm going to just start working the blue. My blue is Stormy Seas and my beige color is Birchwood from the Flea Market Decor line.
Otherwise known as?
Closest color in the regular Dixie line is Sandbar. So because Birchwood's not available anymore, throw the Sandbar in your cart.
Yes, Melissa, Ozark. I'm waiting for the next season.
Yeah, the next season.
4 years later.
The next season's coming out
March.
March? Okay. So I like that. This is pretty.
Outlander. That show's stupid.
Outlander. We were talking about Outlander because I'm a huge Outlander fan, but I don't keep Stars. It's on the Stars channel. We don't keep that year round, so do I get Stars and watch it on time as the season comes out next month? Meaning I have to wait the week in between every episode? Or do
If anybody on here says yes, I'm totally going to find out where you live and hunt you down. Just saying.
Do I just wait for the end of the season and then I can binge watch it? Then we can just sign up for the free.
Yeah, but see, binge watching it, it's like 2 years later. You get to watch it on, Netflix or something.
Well,
or we are totally those people that binge watch like mad if it's a free preview weekend.
You can watch on Stars. They put Outlander on demand, so you can watch Stars.
Well, that means I'd have to have Stars. I don't want to have Stars.
We're gonna have to get Stars because otherwise it's not gonna show up on Netflix for like 2 years.
See, I'm okay with that.
No.
Let me tell you what happens.
See cheap husbands, you guys. Come on.
Let's talk about those shipments that I hide that show up at the door.
$5 a month. Okay, well.
Is it really? Did you look at it? It's really $5 a month. This is how you sell me on stuff.
That's what the commercial says.
It was like $1.50.
Yeah, and you get a $20 oil change. I know what I'm talking about. I live in the real world, okay?
You are going to put the transfer over the sea spray?
Yes, you can put the transfer over the sea spray. So it will just conform to the texture of the sea spray.
And the layer of difficulty?
So I've been thinking about this a lot, you guys, is putting out some kind of like scale. When I post my pieces
that's a good idea.
On my Facebook page, is putting out like, I feel bad when I put out a finish and somebody who's never painted a nightstand before chooses it and I'm like, you may want to know that that's a bear I even struggle with.
You might want to use me as your point of reference for your scale of
so my scale would be like, could
Sean 1 star, Sean 10 stars.
Could Sean do this? And if Sean could do
this isn't going to end well.
But I kind of want something more detailed than, intermediate, beginner, intermediate, advanced. So
look, Julie's totally looking out for you.
What?
You can change my own oil, and then get stars. Jeez. This is killing me.
I
you
know,
ladies.
If Sean changes the oil, we could have stars for like...
I do change the oil, and we do not have stars.
Right.
How's that working out?
Because I've just been stockpiling that cash.
At $20
it's buried
every 3 months.
The kids can go to college because you
go to retirement savings plan.
Yeah. So my sea spray is starting to dry out in my bowl. It's just getting a little bit thicker. So I can spray it with a little bit of water to keep this alive. Because I still have to do the sides and the top on this piece, so I need this sea spray to like work with me here.
Oh, see, Sarah knows the trick. Buy it, buy stars, then threaten to cancel. Here we go.
And call their customer service department.
Oh man, but then you got to spend 3 hours on the phone with them.
No, I'm not.
Agreed.
So Sean and I usually play good cop, bad cop when we have to call and talk.
I don't think it's playing.
Yeah, well, I just tell Sean I'm the bad cop, so if I call, like, we're gonna, they won't even hook our cable service back.
They're gonna come, actually. They didn't even pay for it, but they're gonna come yank the cable out of the ground.
but if he calls, then we could get something for free.
And then get a $20 oil change with my
Sell
cable.
ice to an Eskimo. I, on the other hand, like, I don't know. People just hate. They get mad at me. I'm very forward. Is that what? I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, that's right up there with side hustle. Your colors again.
My colors are Birchwood from the Flea Market Decor line. The closest color in the Dixie Belle paint line is Sandbar. And Stormy Seas.
And you put a base coat of it on there.
Yes, had a base coat. So like this right here is just one single coat. It does have Boss underneath it. Boss in white is underneath.
Because it was a bleeder.
Because it was a bleeder.
And then right now what you did to add texture is you took your sea spray. Where's your bag again?
My same base color, and I added some sea spray, and I stirred this into my paint. You can go back to the beginning, watch this on replay, and you'll see I stirred this into my paint, and I created this kind of batter texture paint. And I'm kind of slopping it onto my piece right now.
Just stand back and throw it.
Yeah, this is just shy of throwing this at my piece. And then I'm taking a little bit, I'm going to do it to this door right now. I'm taking a little bit of Dixie Belle Stormy Seas. And it's a little abrasive right now. Like, this isn't super smooth, but once I put the dark waxes on there, it's going to soften all those transitions. It's not going to look like such a firm line. That's what I'm banking on. That's why I haven't worked it really far into the center. I'm going to let it be a little bit abrasive right now. And then when I...
Man, we start tying into addicts.
When I age this...
Find someone with stars and get their login.
Oh, that's a good idea. You know...
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. People do that with like Pandora and Netflix. Like, we didn't have our own Netflix account for how long? 2 years?
Yeah, that's true. I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
When I do it, it's different.
We were using my cousin's Netflix account.
When you do it, it's just high-profile crime.
Yeah. Same with Pandora. Like,
there's nothing wrong with Pandora.
people share Pandora accounts, and so I just brought that color onto here. Doesn't look great. I just made a big circle. And then I'm going to take a clean, dry brush that I'm wiping off onto this rag. I'm going to throw this rag away when I'm done. It's got sea spray and paint all over it. I'm not going to try to save it. And I'm just going to kind of work these two together. So my vision here is that once...
Trying to reconnect, which tells me...
Is the Wi-Fi dead?
It shouldn't be.
Oh, we've been on too long anyways.
Kimberly says, I think we should use Sean's basically my passwords when I get it. Yeah. Yeah. No.
That's the best way to get our account shut
No.
down. Why is this guy watching 347 TVs at one time?
Yes, Sheila, I would agree. The perfectly fine chip brush, and she's just beating it up.
I know. Sheila, I'm going to mail this to you to please clean it for me. Sheila owns Dixie Belle brushes, only they're like the newest looking brushes ever. I clean my Dixie Belle brushes, but they look like they've been loved.
Loved?
Well loved. Ridden hard. Okay, so let me go through what I plan to do after this. I'm going to put my transfer on next. Because you should put a transfer on over your raw paint. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that transfer on next. Transfer is just going to go in the center portion. Then, once my transfer is on, I'm going to seal this. I'm going to put a clear coat on it. And that will just secure, it'll save my paint for me. And then I'm going to come back and start adding dark waxes and Dixie dirt and gilding waxes. And those are going to be my finishing touches to dirty this up, really grunge it up and make it look old and aged. So that's my process on this. That's how I'm going to finish it off. So anyway, that was adding sea spray to add texture. And then you see how I can add a second color into it? And I didn't even have to mix the Stormy Seas with the sea spray. It just picks up the texture right underneath it. And then I'm just using a clean, dry brush to mix them together. So, anyway.
And your top coat, are you going to spray it or are you going to... Well.
Am I going to spray it?
Am I going to spray it?
So I've started having Sean spray my top coats for me. And the reason is it gives the most professional, clean, finished top coat that I can get. It saves me a lot of time. I do a lot of pieces. And so that is one thing Sean does to help me out a tremendous amount, is he can go out and I'll give him multiple pieces. So I will probably give him 2 pieces this week to just go out and spray them simultaneously. It's done in 15 minutes. He gets 2 coats on it, and my clear coat is done. So I always have either brushed or sponged my clear coats, but as I've gotten more busy, spraying them and Sean helping me has been a lifesaver. So yes, my clear coat will probably be sprayed. Yes, Sean will be doing it this weekend. That's my plan. So anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. You guys, I leave next week for the Bells and Bows tour in Atlanta, Georgia. There are still tickets available. If you guys want to learn from me, Kristana from Bella Renovare is going to be there. Heather Marzigliano, Pam Haskins, Dew Dodson. We've got some amazing teachers, and we're all going to be teaching in one place, one day only. And there are still tickets available. So next week, next Thursday, I'm not going to be live because I'm going to be on an airplane still. I will just be arriving in Atlanta at the airport next Thursday. So my live next week is going to be canceled, but I'll be back the following week to paint with you live on Thursday on the Dixie Belle Paint Facebook page.
If it's on Thursday, does that mean you could just take some paint with you and paint some random object at the airport?
I know, me and Kristana were talking about that. She said just throw some in your carry-on. Like I can open it up right in the aisle, go live at the airport. Don't put it past me. I'm this close to thinking that's a good idea, but I probably will not because I will have been flying all day. I'm going to be exhausted. So skip me next Thursday. I'll be back the following week. But I will try to go live from the Bells and Bow tour that weekend as much as I can. I'll do some social media from my page at Brush by Brandy. Go pick up a ticket if you guys are interested in going. It's only a week away. And I will see you guys the following week. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much.